Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Norrington, Global Happiness Specialist. Oh, hold on, audience. Just hold on. Oh, no. Hold on, audience. This is the Reality Spirituality show, isn't it? Global Happiness Specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington, thank you so much for sharing the show. The Reality Spirituality radio is getting more popular as we speak. Don't ask me how. I'm not a marketing genius, but every week there's some new fans, some new listeners, so thank you for sharing the show. Reality Spirituality, what is this show about? Who is this Global Happiness Specialist? How the nerve of her to think that she can call herself, claim a happiness. What the exactly? And what does that mean, this happy? You know, when I say happiness specialist, the truth is I made a commitment back when I was in my teens. I when you make a wish and you blow out the candles or you throw coins into a fountain or a river, and you make a wish, and my wish was always to live to my potential. I wanted to live to my potential, whatever that was. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that was going to look like, but I asked the universe, I want to live to my potential, and then I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to live to my potential, and this happiness thing has been a lifelong search. And what I share on this show is how to experience more happiness in your life. And when I say how to experience, the question becomes, because happiness, there is a formula. Happiness is a practice skill. And like any other skill, the more you practice, the better you get at it, the easier it becomes, the more the practice becomes your identity. So happiness is a practice skill, and the more you practice. But then you say, what do you practice? What is there to practice? Well, when I say it's a practice skill, the more you commit to the practice, it is daily, it is in every moment. The question comes back to you, my dear audience, is how committed are you? How much do you prioritize being happy? And when I say happiness, I'm talking about an internal set point where your pilot light is set on peace, is set on balance, is set on that vibration of satisfaction. You know, we are all vibrational, energetic human beings, and our vibrations change. They change and they shift depending on, listen, you know that it's not circumstances that make you happy or unhappy. I mean, this is 2021 now. We all know happiness 101, and we know that it's not our circumstances that make us happy or sad. We know that it's not the people that we're with. We know that it's not money. We know that it's not our health, right? I mean, I'm asking you, right? It is an inside job. This happiness is an inside job. However, there are tools. When I say practice, it's a skill. There are behaviors, and there are tools, and there are strategies to life so that you will experience more of that peace. When I say peace, it's interchangeable with happiness, with balance, with flow. All of it is interchangeable. And you know it's a vibration that I'm talking about. It's a vibration that I am asking the universe to assist me in having in every moment. And that's another point. See, when I'm not up here thinking that I can get all this done myself. I'm not up here saying, hey, I got this. No, I ask for help every single day. I ask the universe, how can I? I was having a conversation with my son yesterday about the things years ago what I wanted. And didn't ask for a big house, didn't ask for a relationship, didn't ask for more money, even though all of that would have been nice. But that's not the reason. That is not what brings the peace that I'm talking about. It's not things. It's nothing external. This happiness is what I'm talking about. Is a deep rooted, seated knowing and belief, which overrides all of the program beliefs. And so when I say it's happiness is a practice skill, so what is the practice? The practice is simple. It's just eliminating the behaviors that have been proven to subtract from happiness, and then cultivating the behaviors that add to happiness. It's very simple. Now, what are the biggest problems in this world today? I know it's Easter. Happy Easter to everybody that celebrates Easter. I know that there are a lot of issues and a lot of challenges, especially today. So what are the things that are the biggest problems in the world? And I've asked this question more than once, and I get answers like poverty, disease, hunger. We could even go throw in COVID right now, COVID, lockdowns, war, religion, global warming, animal rights, all of that we say, oh, that's a big problem. Well, I'm here to say, as me, in my humble opinion, the biggest issue, the biggest challenge in this world is unhappy people. People that are unhappy, and people that are unhappy, you can tell. You can tell. It's very easy. They get angry very quickly. They're very judgmental. They blame other people for how they're feeling. I mean, it's a ton. It's not very hard to distinguish or to tell what apart from someone who's happy and someone who's not. And when I'm saying happy, I'm really talking about a deep-rooted sense of peace, a vibration of peace, regardless of what happens. Regardless of what happens. And today's show, we're going to do some Easter memories because, these holidays are really tricky. One of the things that I share with my audience, especially on a holiday or around holidays, is that remember that holidays come with holidays a lot of expectations. A lot of expectations about what to do, who to see. The holidays are just written with expectations and obligations. And I just wanted to share that and remind people that every single day, this program of a holiday feels a little bit different or a holiday is different. I mean, I totally get it. But can we celebrate every single day as if it was a holiday? Can we just start celebrating our lives? And I don't care what you're doing. It doesn't matter. But just to get in that mode or get in that practice of celebrating this life, celebrating it, as opposed to finding something wrong, finding fault, looking at, the program, when I say the program, you know what I'm talking about. The programming is, the conditioning is, the brainwashing is that, there are certain things that are going to make me feel are not going to be conducive to me feeling good. Now, before I go on, the number to call in is to speak with me live is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. I'll get to the calls in just a minute or two. But back to the topic, which is remembering Easter. You know, all the topics tie in with happiness. When I share a topic, it is always tied into what's your vibe, what's your vibration, what's your energy today. And that question asked on this day, the day that we celebrate Easter in 2021, I wanted to do a really quick reminiscing because Easter was a really big holiday in my life growing up as a child. It was huge. It was really, really big. It was one of the biggest. It was one of the biggest holidays of the year. And I'm going back to, I'm really going back to my first memories. And listen, I'm not going to go through every little Easter that I celebrated. Trust me. Thank you for even listening to me this far. But I remember the special feeling on that day. And I remember one of my first Easter baskets. It was so big, I remember I could sit in it. Now, mind you, I might have been 4 years old, 3 years old. I don't even think I was 5, but I do remember being able to sit in the Easter basket. It was that big. And so every year, my brother and I were fitted with brand new clothes, from the shoes to the socks to the underwear to the skirt to the petticoat to the dress to the hat to the gloves to the new purse. Every single year it was a huge event. You go to church, you sing the Easter songs, and only songs, you know, Easter has a specific, especially when you go to church, they have specific songs just for Easter, just like Christmas. But I remember those songs, and I just remember thinking that, okay, and I heard the story, you know, Jesus was an afterthought. I'm just sorry, but I'm just remembering. When I say afterthought, I mean the teachings weren't an afterthought, but that day, as far as getting dressed up and remembering going shopping, getting dressed up, and then having family dinner or going over to a cousin's house having family dinner. I remember all of that. But how about the lesson? I wanted to talk today about the lesson that Jesus, since it is about Jesus in the Christian religion, it's about Jesus getting crucified, and then on the third day he rose again, and he rose from the dead. So I want to talk about those Easter lessons, the lesson that Jesus taught around this Easter period. Now, we all know the story. He was, and this isn't a religious show, but the lessons are the treasure. So I just wanted to, the treasures, I just wanted to, let's review the lessons that Jesus taught around this holiday. Now, prior to him being crucified, of course, he's tried, he's convicted, he's humiliated, he's tortured, he's ridiculed, he's made fun of. I mean, it was a brutal way to go. If you ask me, that way, no, thank you. And then to be nailed, so all of the setup. And when I say it's the practice, it is what this man who was about to be killed, who was about to be executed, practiced. What did he practice? And it wasn't something that, he just magically had that day, but what was the practice? And the practice was, here we go. Let's start with the Garden of Gethsemane. where Jesus did not want to die, and he cried, "Hey, God, Father, listen, hello, I am not interested in dying. I do not want to die like this. This is not what I signed up for. No, thank you. Leave me the F alone." I don't know if he said all that, but you get the drift. He didn't want to die. I mean, he asked, "How, take this cup away from me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go ahead. This is not what I signed up for. No, thank you. I changed my mind. Is there any way out of this?" Really, that was the question. That was the message. Father, God, is there any way out of this? Can I wiggle my way out of this humiliation, this torture, this, his best friends betrayed him. Nobody stayed with him. He was left alone. His disciples didn't go to Gethsemane to pray with him. Judas betrayed him. I mean, the poor guy, what? So going back to the lessons are his disciples didn't pray with him. Don't take anything personally. What you think is important isn't necessarily important to anybody else. That's a big one. That's a big one to remember. What you think is important, your causes, your focus, what you think is serious, what you think is important, doesn't mean that someone else thinks it's important or serious either. They just don't. When I say what to practice to experience more peace and more happiness, that one of them is letting go of thinking that what you think is important is important to anybody else. Let that go. The other thing is this whole, with the Judas betrayal, so you have your best friend betraying you. Now, this betrayal word, that could work for anything, anybody having a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether you are in a loving relationship, a romantic relationship, that whole betrayal thing. I know this is going to sound funny, but can we let go of even taking that personally? The fact that Judas, quote unquote, told the soldiers or told where he was for 30 coins of silver, it wasn't personal. Judas was living out his destiny, living out his purpose. Don't take any of that personally, because look at what it set up. So now we have those lessons, not taking anything personally and not thinking that what is important is important. And I'm just saying all this because of all the lessons that I learned surrounding this Easter celebration, this Easter holiday. And I was never taught those lessons. Now, here we go. But now we get to, he's on the cross. Now, listen, this man, I can't even imagine being so tortured and so physically tortured. Well, I'm not even talking about the mental anguish of having your own people or your own people crucify you. For what reason? For spreading the message of peace? For wanting people to know the truth about this life? You're crucified. When I say crucified, I mean that literally. So here this man is on a cross, getting tortured, ridiculed, humiliated, yelled at. You know the scene. You've seen the scene. Everybody knows the story. And in the middle of all of this, and I've told this more than once, and in the middle of all of this, guess what? He says, "Forgive them because they don't know what they're doing." Forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Now, that's another message, that's another lesson of not taking it personally. And not only that, wanting the best for, wanting the best for, not only wanting the best for, but wishing your enemy well. And I use air quotes when I say enemy. because there are no enemies here. There are no enemies. I know there's the illusion of having an enemy, but there are no enemies. So the sentence, the intention, the letting go of this, all this, I can't even, the horrible treatment that he received off and on the cross, and let it go. I forgive them. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. It's not them. It's not their fault. They're doing the best they can. It's not them. I know that they're living out their destiny also. My torturers are living out their destiny also. It's a really, the only thing I can say is when you practice on a daily basis, when you practice when things are flowing and things are feeling all good and you're feeling connected, the practice is really going to come in handy when you are met with life's challenges. And you know and I know that they always are here. They're right around the corner. You know, life is a roller coaster regardless of what you're vibrating. You're going to experience a lot of things, ups, downs. But what are you vibrating through all of that is the question. What are you practicing? What is your set vibration? What is your set energy? Can you be taken from your place of peace or your peace pedestal? And I say pedestal, I mean your peace stool pedestal. Can you be taken from that to being angry or being bothered or being hurt in another second? Can you go from happy to sad in a second? Or do you go from peace to more peace? The more you practice, the easier it's going to be when you are met with these inevitable life challenges. The thing is, the struggle is always internal. The suffering comes from, when you suffer, comes from thinking that something needs to be different. You know, it's the same lesson with the crucifixion, with the crucifixion. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane didn't want that to happen. He wanted something different, and there was resistance there, and there was, I don't want this. Hey, hello? No, thank you. I don't really want it. And then what happened? What happened? You know the story. I know the story. Jesus said, you know what? All right, screw it. You're right. Your will, not my will. Your will, not my will. And see, that is on the daily. That practice of universe, it's not what I want, my ego, my mind wants. It's what you want for me. It's whatever your plan is. Because God or universe, same universe, God, source, energy, spirit. God has, it's the same. Jesus didn't go through anything that we're not going through. We feel the people turn against us, betrayals, not honest, distrusting, all of that. We feel all of that in our lifetime. And the question comes, how do we respond to all of it? How do we respond when we're challenged? How? That's a question for you. How do you respond when you're challenged? I'll give you a little hint. This thing about vibrating satisfaction, you know the difference between your vibrating satisfaction versus dissatisfaction. That vibration, the ego, your mind is never satisfied with the present moment. It always wants something different. It always wants something more. It always wants what's not, what is not happening. I mean, I have the same. Don't think that I'm immune to any of this. My ego is very active in its comments, very active in its suggestions, very active in its criticism, in its judgments. Oh, I hear them all the time. Don't think I'm immune. But the difference, what I practice is witnessing. I witness the thoughts. I witness the criticisms. I witness the judgment. I am surely not identifying with anything my ego authors, because it's simply not the truth. It's not the truth. My ego will tell me that I'm not doing enough, that I'm blocking something, that there's always a problem. And I'm here to tell you it's just a little shift in what you practice. The deep beliefs. Let me give you a perfect example that just happened. What was today? Just happened yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, Saturday. So I'm on. I know this is a little off topic. I'm on cleanup duty. I don't know why, but I enjoy taking out trash. I enjoy taking out trash. I enjoy picking up trash. If I'm in a public area, especially in a park where there's a lot of nature and the trash is, I'm out there picking up trash if I see it. Well, so one of my duties in my little community here is I've given it to myself. Nobody gave me this duty. I've given it to myself. So on the outside roadways, twice a year, I take my little baggie and I pick up the trash from the road. It's a small community, but before you get to the community, there's this big strip of road, and on either side, there's trash. People throw out trash, bottles, cans, all kinds of trash. So I do it twice a year, and yesterday I was picking up. It was my time to pick up trash, which I love to do. And there was this one area, and I have my gloves on, my little plastic gloves, and there was one area that had some broken glass, but it wasn't a glass bottle. It looked like glass that was made for maybe a front door, that kind of glass, really thick glass. And so there were maybe about 5 or 6 pieces that were that was on the ground in front of me, and they were broken. And I reached down to pick one up in my finger, my pointer finger on my right hand, scraped against a piece of glass that was embedded in the dirt. Now, I didn't see it embedded, so my hand scraped across that and cut really deep. I mean, it cut so deep, I looked at it because, the blood's coming out. And when you're cut deep because it doesn't stop bleeding. So the blood's coming out, and I'm saying, okay, well, my cleanup duty is over. However, I'm going to tell you I'm a trooper. I had a little bit more to go, and even with the blood dripping and all of that, I still finished my job. I finished my cleanup because I was not going to leave that trash there. Anywho, so I'm bleeding, and I try to wrap it in the other gloves that I have in it, and I said, I just have to walk home and address it. Get home. Now the blood is beginning to get hard because it is a pretty deep cut. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to need stitches or not. My point is this. Even with those kind of, because this is life, life, there's something going on every single day. Something happens. I'm not going to label it good. I'm not going to label it bad. I'm just going to say, because this life is an experience without judgments. You want to have a judgment, it's going to subtract from your happiness. All judgments subtract from peace and happiness. So I'm not going to say this was good or this was bad. I'm going to say I got cut. I had a couple of decisions. See if I need stitches or not. So I'm walking home. I get home. I put the hydrogen peroxide on. I put one of those big bandages on, and I try to close the wound, and I leave it. And then last night I put another bandage on, and And if the wound doesn't close by tomorrow, I'll just go and get stitches at the urgent care. This is my point, my dear audience. I'm not telling you the story so you can feel a certain way or, oh, I'm sorry about your finger. None of that. You can feel the same energy that I am telling you the story about getting cut is the same energy yesterday. It's the same energy I have when anything happens. It's really, when I say it's a practice, it is a daily practice. So when these things that are unexpected and a little bit shaky, shake up the routine, shake up the system, when those things happen, that's when you're prepared. That's when you fall back on. That's when you rely on what you practice. It's just like when you're driving a car and you have to swerve really quick. Well, you practice your reflexes. You practice defensive driving. It is a practice. So when I say I'm looking and do I need stitches, it's just a matter of fact. It's not, oh my gosh, oh, look what happened. Now I'm going to need stitches. Oh, woe is me. None of that. It's a take care of it. You have an issue, you have a problem. What's the solution? And you keep it moving. Problem, solution, keep it moving. The struggle is always internal. The struggle is always saying, the ego is always saying something needs to be different than what I am experiencing. And I'm here to tell you that if you're dissatisfied in this present moment, you are going to be dissatisfied in your future moments as well. So the beliefs about Easter, when I say the beliefs about Easter, what are the lessons that you take? What are the lessons that you have learned from the Easter story? The story with Jesus, the crucifying, that didn't want to die. He was crucified, then he rises on the third day. What are the stories? I'm not talking about what they teach you in church. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about the biblical stories. I'm talking about the personal stories that you have learned for yourself in this life surrounding this holiday that we call Easter. What are some of the things that you've learned that have enhanced your own personal growth surrounding the stories, the holiday around Easter? And with that, I'm going to go right to the calls and ask that question of my first caller. But let me just say this. When I'm talking about the beliefs in Easter and what does Easter mean to you, my question is, especially now that we're older and we're not children, do you have any different beliefs? What are your program beliefs about Easter? And what is the message that you received? What are the beliefs that you received surrounding Easter? And what have you learned from that example, the Jesus example? What have you learned and what have you scratched the learning? What have you implemented in your own life? What are the lessons of Easter and what lessons have you implemented in your own life? And I'm not talking about certain circumstances. I'm talking about what you implement on the daily. Are you easy to forgive? Are you easy to let go? Are you easy to forget? Are you easy? Can you forget easily? Can you forgive easily? I mean, like snap. One of my son was talking about some neighbors that we had years ago, and they just were, they're the type of people that if they get mad, then they're going to hold a grudge. I don't like when they hold a grudge, my son's saying. I don't like when they hold a grudge, and I'm thinking, hey, those people, the people that hold grudges, I know this is the Easter show, but when you hold a grudge, it only hurts you. Jesus said, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. That wasn't for them. I mean, see, this forgiveness, there is really nothing to forgive because everything is in perfect order. I get the forgiveness thing, but so when I say how easily do you forgive, how easily can you open your arms up to someone who may have not been so nice to you, how quick do you open your arms? That's an Easter lesson. Let me go to the callers. Area code 951, I believe. Welcome to Reality Spirituality, area code 951. Is this Nathaniel?
Yes, happy Easter, Rebecca.
Hi, now I'm going to remember your number. Hi, Nathaniel. Thank you for calling in on Easter. Happy Easter to you, too.
Thank you.
I have a question. So you were listening to the show. I have a question. So what were some of your Easter beliefs and what are some of your Easter lessons, if you would like to share?
Well, I guess it's not about the egg or anything like that. The egg is like a rebirth, for spring, right? So that's really not the story of Jesus at all, though?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
What it is? The egg and the bunnies and, But,
specific. No, I was going to say, so specifically, how is that how is that looking in your life when you said the spring, new birth, and thank you for that. I forgot all about the new birth. Thank you for that, mentioning that, yes, and new birth, new beginnings, new day, rejuvenation, new life. Thank you for that, Nathaniel. I totally forgot that part of the story. So how is that showing up in your life, the new birth, since you brought it up? How is it showing in your life, the new birth?
I'm not sure yet, but I don't know. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of still birthing, but I called up and kind of filled out an application to go to North Carolina to work for a church. So I don't know if that'll work out.
Wow. Okay, that sounds well. One thing especially listening to this show, it's going to work if it's supposed to work. If that's where you're supposed to be, that's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Do you trust that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the ease of the practice. The ease of the practice is that there's really nothing that we should do, because I don't use that word should, nothing that we have to do. All we have to do is just flow with whatever we are presented. And you said working at a church, and is that going to happen? Well, we know that if that's going to be what the best thing that's going to serve you, guess what? It's going to happen. If it's not the best thing that's going to serve you in this moment or this period of time, it's not going to happen, because you always get, myself included, we get what serves us in every single moment. And that's why there's no reason to, I didn't get this, so now I'm sad, or I did get this, now I'm happy. You know that you are journeying on this life, and everything that's unfolding in front of you is a perfect custom fit for you. Isn't that a light way of living life?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, you're an example of that too, Nathaniel. You're an example of that too. So, and thank you for bringing it up. When you call, one of the things that I like about Nathaniel when he calls into the show is that he brings in topics that are appropriate, not appropriate, but that are covered a lot of people. See, when the angst comes from, or the little, wanting to know, one of the biggest practices that I talk about is being okay with uncertainty. And when I say okay with uncertainty, I mean really being down with uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what kind of plans the universe has for me. But guess what? I trust, I surrender, I practice trusting, I practice surrendering, and whatever universe, whatever you got, I'm going to be ready for it because you've already prepared me for it. So see, it's really an easy way to live. It's a relaxed way to live. And I'm not even discounting those challenges that come up from time to time. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those big challenges, those roller coaster ride challenges, the health challenges, the money challenges, the job challenges, the relationship, the getting cut with. I almost fatally killed yesterday with the cut. No, that's just an exaggeration. It's just a lot of drama. But it when Nathaniel said the job and getting a job, and the thing is, the trusting that if I get that job and if I am working there, then I'm there for a reason. I'm there to expand. I'm there to have more consciousness. I'm there to grow. I'm there because this is a divine plan. And if you don't get the job, guess what? You weren't supposed to get it in the first place. That wasn't part of your journey. You see how easy it is? It really is easy. I have contacts with a lot of different people, and sometimes things work out and sometimes it doesn't. And I mean, I used to do well, this is going to work out, this is going to work out. And when it doesn't work out the way my ego wants it to work out, the way my ego thinks it should work out, and the ego uses that word should all the time. But when you get to a point where you practice and you really make a decision and you make a commitment to prioritizing peace and happiness, you are there for the ride. You are there in the back seat. The universe is driving. You have no hands on the steering wheel. You are there, and you are trusting. See, the ego doesn't like that trusting. The ego doesn't want you to trust. The ego doesn't want you to be okay with uncertainty, because guess what? Then the ego's going to be out of business, and the ego's going to be weak. So you either want a powerful, strong ego, then you keep feeding it. You keep feeding with mistrust. You keep feeding it with, I don't know, this isn't what I want. Or you begin to weaken the ego's power. And when I say weaken the power, it's not about eliminating it. It's about giving it power, giving it a voice, giving it power to make you feel or do anything a certain way. No, my ego is there for me to witness. It's very entertaining. It's always with the bad reviews. I get so many bad reviews from my ego, but I'm not. I know the difference. I really appreciate Nathaniel sharing that with us, because that wanting and thinking that I know or I want something to happen is so overplayed. How about just allowing the universe to do its job? How about just letting go and allowing the universe to work its magic, and trust and let go? That's what my Easter beliefs are. Letting go, surrendering, trusting, and not having my plan, just letting the universe work its magic. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website, RebeccANorrington.com. You can visit my website. follow me on Twitter at RL Norrington. LinkedIn, Instagram handle is RealitySpirituality. I have a few videos on YouTube. You can just search Rebecca Norrington or Reality Spirituality. The Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness book can be purchased on Amazon. My second book, Program for Unhappiness, is going to be out sometime this year. And The Truth About Happiness, the Reality Spirituality Radio is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I said that already, but I'm going to say it again. So until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality with yours truly, Global Happiness Specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. Have a conscious week, and remember, happiness is a practice skill. Your experience in every moment, in every day, reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down.